Hey, and welcome to the Becoming Immortal, I don't know what we're calling this, educational, learn about the program video. We are your hosts, Leah Steele and Michelle Patrick. So yeah, we wanted to, when Michelle and I thought about how we wanted to promote this program, neither of us are really a fan of sales pages. I feel like you don't really get a good idea of what a program's about simply from reading words on a page. And so we really wanted to create a short video where we could tell you about this program, why we're doing this program, why this program is so important for us and for humanity at this time. And then we thought it would be fun to have a few of our incredible alumni on to share their personal experiences, having just been through the last 6-month journey of becoming immortal. So yeah, I think we'll talk to you a little bit about this program. And I think maybe just both of us individually talk about why we're doing this and why it's important to us. And so I guess the first thing to say is that this is a 6-month journey of self-mastery. It is not to be taken lightly. It requires a lot of commitment. It requires a lot of dedication, but it's an incredible journey of self-discovery, and something that will, should you choose to participate in, will forever change your life. So Michelle, do you want to talk a little bit about maybe why we came together to do this program, and about, maybe your piece, which is really the theory and
the geek stuff. Just keep it real. Stop trying to be polite. Well, we came together because I was in Bali, and we decided to, come up with Inner Alchemy, which is a short 6-week kind of introduction to self-mastery from the perspective of 5-element theory, which is a thousands and thousands of year-old philosophy based on metaphysics and science, and manifests through the body, basically. So as we were doing and creating Inner Alchemy, we just knew that this was just the beginning. And there would be so many other people like ourselves, like me and like Leah, who start this journey of self-mastery as I did years and years and years and years ago, and keep venturing down the rabbit hole. So thus Becoming Immortal was born, which is a 6-month journey of self-mastery. And Leah is right, it's not for the weak. It is a real investigation into the parts of yourself that you've probably never even considered or been aware of, and how you are and experience life as a holistic entity, as part of the intellect of consciousness, and not this kind of individual 3D human body just walking through the program of the matrix blindly. So entering into this program not only helps you explore your internal alchemy from a perspective of organs and science, but how all of those things connect with your emotional aptitudes, your mental day-to-day ability, your overall chronic and acute health, both emotionally and physically, and how to change those things instantly, right? And it gets to be like that. And just really exploring yourself on this level puts together all the missing pieces. It does really make you feel whole. That's what I feel about Becoming Immortal. It really kind of takes you back into the bigger picture of what life is, and creates a feeling of wholeness, and gives you back the control of your being, which you are, because we're all in control of our internal environment. So this program really does, through using 5-element theory and our amazing modality that we have created with Leah's emotional clearing expertise, emotional resonance clearing, to really refertilize the soils of yourself, and then clear all the emotional baggage that you've collected up until this point through your internal alchemy. It's amazing.
It is amazing. So I want to talk a little bit about why this work is important, because as we all know, there are a million programs out there on the market right now. There's a million things that you can choose to up-level your consciousness, to expand your self-development, your personal growth, your spiritual growth. I mean, there are so many offerings out there in the market right now. And I want to talk a little bit about why this program. And so I think that a lot of people hear about becoming immortal and they think that this program is just about physical transformation. And as you will see when some of our beautiful ladies begin to share their testimonies with you, their testimonies, yes.
Yes.
And you will see that, you know, physical transformation is inevitable in this program. But that's not really what this is about. And so I think a lot of people, when they hear about becoming immortal, they think that this is a physical program of transformation. And so I really want to talk about, you know, that yes, that's the case, but this is about so much more. This is literally about transformation of the 5 bodies. It's literally transformation and creation of the entire reality that you desire. And, you know, people often are like, well, why are you doing this? Like, you're the wealth woman, right? Like, you're the wealth witch. Why are you doing a program about immortality? And so, you know, for me, like, if you've been following me at all for a while, you know that to me, wealth is not just financial. That when I talk about being wealthy, I mean being wealthy in all areas of our lives. And that really, to me, is what this program does, is it creates exactly what Michelle just said. It creates wholeness. And so to me, why this program is because I don't know that there is I've never seen anything else out there on the market that affects every single area of your life, that literally transforms every single area of your life. So do you want to speak to that a little bit?
I mean, it really, really does. And I'm gonna do the geek thing again, okay? Because I'm the geek woman this morning. But we're all vibration and frequency. You know, like when Leah talks about being the wealth witch, and I keep using this term 3D recently because it really does feel like that. Like, we all want to expand into like a higher state of consciousness, but we're still experiencing life from this 3D glasses that we have on. You know, so when Leah is speaking about being wealthy in all areas of your life, that is the vibration and the frequency of that ideal that she's bringing to people's lives. And we are vibration and frequency. So when you're creating a different blueprint from your own vibration and frequency internally, from your, you know, physical matter moving into your emotional matter, and your emotional frequencies, you are literally extending a different vibration and frequency out into not just your world, but the world, your relationships, your job, your life in general, you know, therefore creating a different feedback. So everything changes. It's bioenergetic, and we are bioenergetic by nature, right? It's just that we never really explore those parts of ourselves because we're too concerned with what we can see and what we can feel, but the visceral things. But this is the area that really, if you want to ignite any change in your life, that you must work with the bioenergetics of life in order to kind of change the frequency for yourself and those around you.
Yes to that. So what is this? What is this program? It is 6 months. It is absolutely about physical changes in your life, including looking at the fuel that you are putting into your body, looking at how you are caring for your physical vessel, and really identifying what is going to work for you as the individual. So One of the things that you get when you come into becoming immortal is you get a constitutional factor diagnosis with Michelle. You want to tell them what that is and why that's important?
That is a very deep question that I will try to keep concise.
1 minute or less.
Okay, so basically within 5-element theory, you know, we have all of the elements, the 5 elements that we will be exploring deeply that you are containing all within you. However, you have a constitution within them all, which is both your weakest link and your superpower, and you were born with that constitution. And within those constitution, within the elements, you know, there are organs and emotions that are relative to that particular element. So exploring your constitutional factor not only allows you to tap into, you know, unseen caves of alchemy that you can bring to your life, but it also helps you get an understanding and a real grip on any kind of chronic or acute emotional or physical issues, imbalances, disease, physical problems, mental problems that you've been experiencing within this one element of yours. So through the diagnosis, we do like a full exploration. We take a full lifestyle history, a full medical history, a full body history period, and really open up into what your constitution is and where your imbalances lie, allowing you to kind of bring them to the forefront and fix them.
And so this really is the piece that makes you an individual, and exploring yourself inside the scope or the container of your constitution is the thing that enables you to go from like what Michelle refers to a lot as colonized wellness into a path of individual and unique wellness that is appropriate for you and who you are. And so you get the ability to know that constitutional factor and learn so much about how to bring that element into balance. But you also get an opportunity to explore all the other elements and learn when you're out of balance in those elements and how to bring those into balance and how each element interacts with each other, and how to identify when an element is out of balance and maybe affecting another element. And so there is so much knowledge that Michelle shares inside this container. This information is stuff that I truly believe every child should be taught in primary school. And it is just fascinating to me how little we know about our bodies. And we just walk around in this miracle suit and have no idea how it even works or functions. And so that is the wisdom and the knowledge that you get. And so, you know, for me, I talk a lot about that we really are only accessing, what do they say, 10% of the power of our brain and about 40% of our physical capability and capacity. And so what I see this program doing is increasing that amount that we're using of our physical capacity and increasing that amount of our brain. And we're doing that through the unification of those two parts of ourselves, as well as tapping into our own divinity, and tapping into that divine immortal soul and bringing that into harmony and into unity with this meat suit, right? With our meat vehicle. And so in addition to that, we add in the emotional clearing. And so this part is so powerful because then we begin to look at what is the emotional pathology that has, you know, in many cases been stuck or stagnant our entire lives, that are trapped inside the organ systems of our body, that are causing sickness, that are causing disease, that are causing these chronic conditions that we just live with day to day, like it's completely normal. Michelle and I were talking yesterday, I guess, about digestion and about how the majority of the population has digestive issues and they just accept it. And they're just like, that just is what it is. It's not. You don't have to live that way. You get to operate at peak performance. Like, you didn't come to this planet to be living in sickness and illness and chronic fatigue and having headaches all the time and waking up with brain fog every day. That isn't how you were designed to live. But unfortunately, the way that our government institutions and regulatory agencies and the people that are controlling our food supplies, they want us to be in that chronically ill state. And so this program is just as much about deprogramming and deconditioning that idea of colonized wellness and those programs around what's societally acceptable for health and wellness as it is giving you new knowledge. And so we're doing a lot of deconstruction of that programming, of that conditioning, and freeing you from those trapped, stagnant, stuck emotional pathologies that exist inside your organ systems. So it really is this beautiful combination of knowledge and theory that Michelle brings. And, you know, I mean, I literally could probably talk this whole entire time about how much she's changed my life with this knowledge and with this wisdom. But you're getting naturopathy here, you're getting herbology, you're getting information on how to nourish the elements that make up your body. And we are all made up of all of the elements. And it is something that is so ignored in mainstream health and wellness. And it just is mind-boggling that we completely overlook this, that we don't talk about the meridians of our bodies, that we don't talk about the organs and their functions and what they actually do and how they contribute to every single thing that we're doing in our lives. So that is what this program is. It is a 6-month deep dive into your own inner alchemy and learning how to balance that. And really learning, well, not learning, but taking back control of your physical destiny and your ability to become your own inner physician and to become your own inner healer. And it really enables you to stop depending upon advice and information from people who are incentivized to continue to keep you sick. So that's my
Amen.
that's my becoming immortal spiel. Do you have anything you want to add to that, Michelle, before we bring the ladies?
I think that was extremely, extremely gospel. Thank you.
So that's what you'd be getting into with us. So I want to bring up some of these incredible women that have joined us today. So I'm going to just remove our spotlights so we can all be on the screen together. And so I would love for some of these beautiful ladies to share their journey and their experience going through Becoming Immortal. They just wrapped their Becoming Immortal journey in February. So Laura, why don't we start with you and just, you know, share whatever it is that you want to share about that 6-month journey, maybe about where you were in the beginning, where you are now, what you took away, and maybe why you would recommend people do the program.
Yeah, thank you for having us on, because this was like such a great opportunity to be able to share, because putting into words what the last 6-8 months has been it's uncanny. And I think you really summarized it in sharing what you've just shared there. Like, I had absolutely no idea what I was getting into saying yes to Becoming Immortal. Like, none. I was just like, just sign me up, just do it, you know. And obviously we signed up because of the ERC practitioner training. And so I had spent my entire life going, why don't I know anything about nutrition? Why don't I know anything about what my body's telling me? You know, I'd had, you know, random kind of things that the doctors would just say, oh yeah, that's just normal. You're a woman, that's normal. You know, I'd lived with anemia my entire life. I was exhausted all the time. And, you know, and we just expect that it's just like, oh yeah, just keep pushing, just keep going, it's fine. You know, and then I'd have a couple of days a month where I'd just be laying in bed. I was exhausted. Like, and I remember my first session with Michelle, and we talked about this stuff. And sorry, my messages are going off. We talked about this stuff, and she opened my eyes to the fact that, you know what, we can heal it from within. And I'm like, part of me was like, what? And the other part of me was like, sabotaging it every step of the way, just because it was nothing like I'd ever known. But the biggest thing that I've taken away from that 6-month journey is the fact that my body tells me what I need. you know, and I've become so in tune, not just nutritionally, but intuitively, just knowing what I need emotionally, physically, and nutritionally, that I don't have to think about what's for dinner anymore, because my body tells me. It's like, this is what we're having. The next step is to have my own chef that I can tell them to do it for me. But you know, like, it just, trying to summarize it into words. I was looking at photos the other day, and it wasn't until I caught up with one of my business managers, and she's like, I haven't seen you for so long. She goes, your eyes have completely changed color. My eyes are brighter. I've got the bit of the two-tone eye thing going on, and my eyes are brighter. I'm happier. Like, things just do not affect me. And to be honest, I probably half-assed at least half of the 6 months, you know, and bring myself back to that point of,
You guys can't though, so you don't use that as an excuse to have that.
No, and I had my ass kicked for it, right? Like, I had my ass kicked for it. So it's not like, I'm not saying that this is what you should do, but the real awareness for me was going, it hasn't always been this way. And to be able to kind of sit here after the fact and be like, oh my God, this stuff's real. It's brought everything into to the here and now, and my ability to be able to go, yep, this is what's needed. This is what's needed for clients, for the work that I do, for all that stuff. It's brought it all together, and now everything makes sense. So it's almost like all that seeking and searching led us to here, and now we're at a place. It's like, I actually cannot talk about emotional clearing without talking about nutrition. I can't, like, you know, I went to try and do I think early on in Ouroboros, I actually was doing a clearing call, and I was like, hold up, this is not a nutritional course, but we have to talk about this. So everything has melded together now. And, you know, post like becoming immortal, I actually feel clean. I feel like my body is just operating in a way. I actually have to have a blood test to see where my iron levels are at, but I know for a fact they're heaps better. They're much more stabilized. I'm not having the issues that I was having before. Now, I had lived with anemia for most of my adult life, you know, and I was having infusions every 6 to 12 months. So that for me is a huge win. And obviously this is not a medical model, but it's just like, that's where I can baseline it from, to go, you know, just 6 months of taking care of myself in, you know, body, mind, and spirit has actually led to hopefully that being completely turned around. I wouldn't go back now. And to be honest, the whole like eat meat and your iron levels will be fine, I barely eat any meat these days. I think when we removed it the first time, I was like, well, I can't remove that. My iron levels will be completely screwed. Now the most meat I have is chicken and fish. Like, so yeah, I think, does that answer any of your questions? Because we could talk all day and the words just get a little bit lost. But to be honest, it's the best thing I ever did. As much as I, you know, fought against it half the way, most of the way, okay, all the way. Like, but it's the best thing I ever did. And I can't imagine not having this knowledge anymore, because, you know, whenever anything comes up in my body now, it's just like, okay, how have you been taking care of yourself? What organ does that come from? All right, what do we need to do to nourish that? You know, and one of my kids had dental surgery last week, and straight away I was like, okay, how do we nourish his body? You know, how do we make sure that he gets over it really quickly? And in 4 days, he was over something that probably should have taken him 2 weeks. You know, just from that perspective. And it's not kind of going hardcore, you know, let's go and get all the pills. Let's go and, you know, buy all the whiz bang things that are out there on, you know, that kind of go, hey, take this and you'll feel better. It's just like, in the food that we eat, in the way that we nourish ourselves, that's what makes a difference. So there's my sermon.
Thank you. I love that. Sophie, why don't you tell us a little bit about how the learning, and because I know for you, the understanding of your constitutional factor has made a huge difference in your life. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how that wisdom and knowledge has impacted you, and you know, sort of where you were at the beginning and where you are now in relation to your constitutional factor.
Yes. So I knew Michelle before doing Becoming Immortal, and for years I'd been doing a bit of nutrition, just listening to what, you know, ever was coming out of, you know, the new thing, sea moss and this and ginger and all of that. I'd been doing acupuncture, and then I'd be doing therapy. But even though, you know, the phrase body, mind, and soul, that thing that everybody uses all the time, I had it. I kind of understood what it meant. And it's only when I started doing Becoming Immortal that it all clicked. And before doing Becoming Immortal, Inner Alchemy, I started with Inner Alchemy, and then I did Becoming Immortal. I sort of knew myself, but on a very intellectual level. So I knew that I had anxiety. I knew that, you know, I would react to certain things a certain way, but that's all I could tell you. I would say, yes, this is the way I am, without really being able, without understanding why, really, and without being able to do anything about it. It was a good step. I mean, you know, I kind of knew myself, but that was it. And then when I started doing Becoming Immortal, and, you know, got confirmed that I was a water constitution, it's not just understanding what it means. So I understood why I was feeling a certain way, why certain experiences would affect me in very different ways from other people because of my constitution. I understood. So so I could see it coming. Now I can see it coming. You know, if there's anxiety, if there's something, I can see it coming. So I understood that, and I understood how it was coming, and I also understood what to do to navigate it. And the last thing, which to me is absolutely, well, it's not mind blowing, but it's super important, I accepted it. Because for years and years and years and years, I was going against it because I was like, this shouldn't be existing. The anxiety that I feel, that paralyzed will that I have, this shouldn't be existing. So I was going against it, but not knowing how to go against it. But with Becoming Immortal, I've understood that this is my constitution. And there are going to be things that I will struggle a little bit more with, but I now know how to navigate it. And that makes it so much more powerful because you're in control. You're in control of your reality. You're in control of your vehicle. And the anxiety doesn't even come anymore. And when it comes, sometimes I just laugh at it because I know, I'm like, yes, that's your water. That's your water. Okay, fine. It's going to happen. Right with it. Or if you've got tools, because it's not just nutrition and clearing, we're also given a lot of tools like the inner smile, even the 10 minutes doing nothing, asking your body what it needs, and all of that, all those little things. Some of them may not resonate with you, but some of them will. You start to put them in place. And Becoming Immortal is only the beginning of the journey to knowing yourself. And it's such a beautiful journey because, you know, it's like you're experimenting things, you're understanding why things happen to you or why you're experimenting certain things a certain way. It makes me so much calmer. And I never really thought I would feel calm and in control and okay about everything. So, and it's made me a lot more self-confident as well. There were things and that was through nutrition, through those daily practices, through emotional clearing. I've become a lot less insecure, a lot more confident, a lot more serene about so many things that I never thought I would be. My partner has seen the difference. I mean, he saw me during Becoming Immortal, which was quite an ordeal, but he sees the changes, he sees the calmness and the way I process my emotions. So life-changing, life-changing. I cannot imagine going back. And I get a bit woody about people who don't do the things. I get quite frustrated and angry, and I'm like, why don't they do it? Blah, 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 blah. So I need to work on that. But yes, absolutely life-changing. And I cannot recommend this enough.
Amazing. So, and Leslie, I would love to have you share, because of everyone that did Becoming Immortal this last round, you know, I think that you showed up in an extremely disciplined and dedicated way to the nutrition and the physical aspects of this program. And I know that you got so much on the emotional side as well. But I would love for you to talk a little bit about your physical transformation, because I think, you know, 1 month into the program, Michelle and I you were coming on calls, and Michelle and I were like, what is going on here? And you had such a tremendous physical transformation. And I know that that physical transformation was your dedication to the nutrition and herbology and naturopathy part of the program, but maybe also talk a little bit about how that physical transformation happened as a result of shedding some of the emotional blockages through the emotional clearing and stuff. But I would love for you to just talk about your physical transformation and the components that played a role in that. And I will just say before she says this, that if you come into Becoming Immortal, I ban you from your scale. So you are banned from your scale for 6 months. You can take measurements, but you cannot get on the scale. And so Leslie didn't get on the scale the whole time. And so from the start, I mean, we'll just start with that. How many pounds did you lose over the 6 months?
So the last time I measured or weighed myself at the end of Becoming Immortal was upwards of 50 pounds. So, and I have been pretty disciplined because I was such a victim to a slave to the scale of always wanting to like weigh myself every week. Like I got caught up in that number. So since Becoming Immortal, that has all changed. I now only weigh myself once a month. So we're a month out, and I'm probably gonna weigh myself at the end of this month. But when I stepped on the scale for the first time in 6 months, like when I seen that number, I was like, holy shit. Okay, I'm a believer. But so when I entered to this program,
it was like 57 pounds or something.
Yeah,
almost 60.
Well, and throughout the months, I was taking measurements and watching like the inches drop. And I think within like the first month or two, I had dropped like 11 inches in my waist. And so I'll just start that off by saying that I did come into this program a year post delivery of my second child. And I don't think I never really lost the weight from when I had my first child. So then I had another child, and I didn't gain a lot in my second pregnancy, but I never lost from the first time. So I was carrying a lot of weight in my stomach area. And that was one of the things that really drew me into this program. Was I was just feeling run down. I would go to work every day, and I'd come home and make dinner for the kids, and I'd be passed out on the couch by like 7 o'clock. And I was just like so exhausted. I had a toddler at the time running around, like trying to keeping up with her. And then I had another kid in school. So it's like something had to change. And I had already, after I had my first child, like tried different weight loss journeys. And when I started to watch you and Michelle's the stuff that you guys had released from the Elementor Factor, I was really intrigued, because I grew up in a family where my father practiced Western medicine. So like medicine was always in my family. And so I knew what I thought I knew. And so I'll say, forget what you thought you know, because you probably don't know half of what you're going to learn in this program. You're going to be mind blown. And I know I was. And still, when I hear Michelle or Leah like present information, I'm just like, no way. How did I not know these things? But yeah, so I grew up in a family where my father was in Western medicine. And I never led like a really unhealthy lifestyle. I thought I ate healthy. I thought I exercised. But when I stepped into this program, it was like a whole nother level of like getting to know myself. So I literally feel like for the last 38 years that I was in this body, I was walking around like so disconnected. And when you talk about the aspect of the emotions being tied into the nutrition, so I had lots of years of like trauma and like some crazy shit happened to me. And I always thought that like I had dealt with that. I thought that, you know, I had moved on from that, but little did I know all I had been doing for that whole time was just stuffing emotions, bad habit on top of bad habit. And there were so many layers of like bullshit that I had to sift through in this program. And when they say that it's not easy, they're not lying. So if you think that you're going to come in here and see some crazy dramatic results and half-ass it, then you're kidding yourself. But I remember at the welcome call of this Becoming Immortal, you asked me to name it and claim it. And I was just reflecting actually in my journal before I started this call. And the thing that I had named was radical transformation. And I was claiming 100% commitment to the journey. And that's all the expectations I had set for myself. And I had went through, I mean, every single emotion that you can think of. I had ups, I had downs. There was times I wanted to quit. I'm pretty sure Leah and Michelle dragged me by my hair to the finish line. And if it wasn't for the amazing women that were in the program with me, cheering me on, I probably would have just been like, screw it. But looking back, I'm glad I didn't. And now I know that like, I have so much information and like knowledge, like ways to like bring myself back into balance when I'm feeling all those crazy thoughts, when my mind is racing, when I want to give up. Like I know how to kind of like nourish my body. Whereas before I would just kind of reach for the first thing that would satisfy me, whether that be a piece of chocolate or, you know, a drink to kind of calm my nerves or, you know, so Becoming Immortal, like definitely hands down, like if you have any inkling of trying it, they should definitely, because I mean, and I have pictures of before and after, and if anyone wants to see those, feel free to reach out to me. But like, I've shared them in the group and it's crazy. Like you would be like, what? There's no way in 6 months. But yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I do just want to say something here because I think it's really important. Yes, this program requires discipline. Yes, it requires dedication. But self-mastery does not have to be misery. And this journey is about helping you learn to live a balanced life. It is not about perfection. It's about progress, and it's about continually coming back into what your individual balance state is. And that's what you learn in this program. So, you know, Michelle and I drink wine. We eat cheeseburgers sometimes. Like, you know, we live a balanced life. But what self-mastery does, and what this program does, is teach you how to continue to strive for physical, spiritual, emotional excellence while still enjoying life. And that's really what this program is about. So, but yes, it does require discipline. It does require dedication. It is a commitment. It's a commitment to self. It's a commitment to soul. And so if you're interested in taking this journey with us, our next round starts on April 27th. It is a 6-month program. We have 2 options and 2 ways to participate in this program. The first is the full shebang, which gives you diagnostic sessions with Michelle and I, as well as one-on-one sessions throughout the 6 months with Michelle and I. And this is definitely the option for those that want to really, truly like dive in, experience radical transformation, and begin to live a life that they never even imagined was possible. And that is $6,666. And we do have some really incredible payment plans available, including a 12-month payment plan. So that is the first option. The second option is that this round of Becoming Immortal, we decided to offer an option that includes the initial diagnostic sessions, but does not include the follow-up one-on-ones with Michelle and I. So you get to know what your constitutional factor is and where you're elementally out of balance, and then you get to participate in the whole program. So you get all the content, you get all the group emotional clearing. You just don't get the one-on-one sessions with Michelle and I. And that option is $4,444, and there is a 12-month payment plan option available on that as well. So that's a little bit about this program, why you might want to do it. If you're watching this video, then you've either found yourself in a WhatsApp chat with us or a Telegram chat with us, or it's been shared with you by one of our incredible affiliates. So if it's been shared by an affiliate, definitely go back to the person that referred you to this video and ask them questions and get the information from them on how to sign up. And if you're in a Telegram chat or a WhatsApp chat and you've got questions about any of the things that we discussed, please let us know. This is designed to be very interactive. We want you to have all of your questions answered. But I will just say this, if you found yourself here, it's likely because your soul has directed you here. Your soul has said, there is a better way. We don't have to live like this anymore. And there is. And I promise you that this is an investment that you will not only not regret, but will be the best money that you've spent on yourself. So that's all I have. Michelle, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Do the things, people. That's all I have to say. It really is. There is only so many words that we can use to really describe or try to describe how transformational this program is. And it's just blows my mind. It blows my mind, you know, even as a facilitator, what it really brings people into. And I just implore everyone to do that, do the things, like come into a greater understanding of yourself and change your reality, because that is what happens here.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We hope to hear from you, and we really hope to see you inside this incredible container on April 27th.